we're probably just going to ramble on as we do for a little bit until we can get our sound back in order, TM.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Cool. Okay, we're good. So I don't know where we cut out, but we have Corey Overwatch here to talk about their what once was a Tumblr account, but now is a Twitter account. I don't even know if you have the Tumblr account still active.
I do.
I know you moved.
I don't check Tumblr very often, just because Tumblr in and of itself is kind of a mess now.
Thanks.
But it is still there. There is a Discord now too, and I do yell on Twitter a lot.
How many people are
Current 11, 12, 13, 14. Which isn't
squad.
Yeah, it's not nearly the fraction of followers that the Tumblr account had. Unfortunately, a lot of people haven't transferred over, but it's there if anyone wants to join. Everyone's welcome to join. It's just Queer Overwatch. Basically, the only rules are don't be a bigot. No. Yeah, it's really not. A lot of people think it is, but it's really not. Just don't be mean to people. I don't understand why that's
last
so hard.
week. It's just like it doesn't cost very much just to not be an asshole.
Honestly, it's so easy to just be nice to people.
Absolutely, I agree. No,
I really like that you're doing this too, because it's so important for people who are queer and play Overwatch to have like a space where we can just go and play Overwatch with people. Because I play on console, and I've played with Miranda before, and I usually also play with my other friends, and most of them are gay because, surprise, a lot of my friends are gay because
we just flock together.
Gay. Exactly. We always find each other. It's always going to happen.
Yep.
And I play with him, and then like, if I want to play comp, I will not talk on mic. Even if I'm playing by myself, I will not put on a headset and talk on a microphone unless I am with my friends.
Yep.
And the group is like massive. Like a 6-stack. That's it. I don't talk to strangers. I don't talk to people that I don't like. And even so, like, I get harassed all the time. And I get harassed, like, in my place of employment as well. For being, like, a woman. And then for also being a gay woman. And that's just where we're at. So, you know what? It's 2019. It's time for it to end. And Queer Overwatch is just the @ on Twitter, @ Queer Overwatch.
Yep.
Where, like, if you identify under that umbrella of being queer, you should follow it, and then you should be a part of that community, because, first of all, Corey tweets nothing but the best takes. It's important for all of us, too, to have a place together.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we deserve.
Community is very important, and I feel like it's understated a lot by a lot of people. I'm like, no, it's so important to have this, because otherwise you don't really feel safe. And I know, like, someone's like, safe spaces. I'm like, they're important to have. They're important to have. And if you don't have a community, then you don't really have a place where you can feel safe. And then if you don't feel safe, then you're not really free to feel like yourself. And that's the whole point, is we should be free to feel like ourselves and to just be ourselves with whoever we want. And if it's someone that's the same gender as you or whatever else, go for it. But you do need a community to feel safe doing that. And my thing was, I didn't see that when I was getting into Overwatch. I didn't see a community for mainly feminine people, but especially queer people. And I was like, I didn't play comp until I started Queer Overwatch, because I was like, I'm not doing this alone. I am not going to be in a voice chat. I sound very feminine. I am not dealing with that, especially because I do main support and diva. So then it's the girl in the voice chat playing Mercy or diva mainly, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. But then I end up in it anyway, because I end up playing with my one friend who is a very easily identifiable non-binary gay man. And so we're just the girl and the gay in group chat, and I'm like, listen, I don't need to switch off diva. She's been in every meta. Stop playing Hammond. That's the issue here.
Facts are facts.
The girl and the gay, first of all, I want that to be the name of my album.
The girl and the gay.
Girl and the Gay sounds like Beauty and the Beast, but better.
You're so right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
honestly, I'm into it 100%. But
I love that.
you're just so right, and it's so frustrating. Because I remember I was in, I joined like a gay gamer like Facebook group or whatever. They were just called like gamers, and I was like, all right, I could get into this. Let me see what it's all about. And I wouldn't say that I was surprised as much as I was disappointed
Yeah.
that it was a white game thirsting after like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. And I was like, all right, but like, do y'all want to play some games together? Y'all want to talk about some cool stuff? Like The Last of Us 2, oh my god, Ellie's there and she's kissing a girl. Isn't that so dope? And they were like, ew, lesbians are gross. And I was like, all right, I'm about to bounce.
It's the cis white gay men.
Exactly. Like, there's still, like, on top of us needing a community outside from the people who are actively oppressive, there's also so much work we have to do within our own community.
Yeah.
For, like, people who need to realize that, one, lesbians are here, not going anywhere, and they are valid. Thanks, that's great. Secondly, trans people deserve everything. Period. I don't know how else to say that, but that's it. And then, like, for certain people, like, white gay dudes, like, I'm not trying to, cast a stereotype, but man, like,
It's the cis white gay men TM. There's
Exactly.
a specific type.
we all
that is
need to be nicer
please.
to each other. We need to be more involved with each other and lifting each other up in this community, because we all suffer from at least one thing in common, where there's like parts of the world and parts of this country still, and people who run this country, smile, that don't like us and don't want us around.
Which is why the like idea of like, oh well, like we don't want this specific group of people within LGBTQ plus, whatever you want to call it. We don't want this specific group of people, and because they're oppressors somehow. And it's like you're always going to be in that with someone who is has some sort of privilege over you somehow. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't be there because they have this other thing in common with that somehow. Like Black people and Latina people and just people in color in general are always going to be in a like there are plenty of queer people of color who are going to be in that community with white people. Always. There are trans people who are going to be in the community with cis people. That's just there's always going to be someone who has some sort of privilege that you don't. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't be there. Which for me is why I identify with queer and why I was so adamant about like, no, this has to be queer Overwatch, is because I feel like people that identify as queer get that better, whereas people that are still very adamantly like, no, queer is a slur and absolutely no one should be using it ever at all, don't really get that. Like, yes, it is a slur. All of our words are slurs. And if you don't identify as that, don't identify with that word, you haven't reclaimed it, that's fine. No one's going to force you to reclaim it. You don't have to reclaim anything. But you also don't get to tell other people that they can't just because you don't.
Exactly.
It's exhausting.
Reclamation is like something that's so tricky because, like, I don't know. Once one oppressed group tries to reclaim something, I feel like it opens up this weird portal where oppressors are like, oh, the oppressed group is saying the thing now. We can say it too. We can start doing the thing again. And it's just like, no, random white man, you can't call me a spick. Thanks.
You also can't use the N-word. I don't care how gay you are still racist.
Like, I feel like a lot of what shapes modern gay culture is kind of modeling it after the people who started ballroom culture. I mean, because of those people, that's why we have pride. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why we are able to celebrate like where the queer community has come to be. But also it's like you can't say the N-word and then also put that you don't date anyone who isn't white in your Tinder bio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like number one, Ken. You shouldn't be saying that word to begin with. Number two, check your white privilege. And I mean, I feel like that's a statement that's gotten so very demonized in all the wrong reasons, because it's just like people will take whatever specifically female activists are saying and just kind of make it into this huge joke for some girls are upset about. Just don't matter, I guess.
Oh, no, don't you know? Girls are entirely too emotional, and if they're upset about anything, it's completely invalid. There couldn't be any sort of actual reason why a feminine person would be upset about anything. You're just on your period, right?
Exactly. Like, it just...
Like, no, now you're just validating why I was mad in the first place.
Exactly! Like, it's just like, I feel like when people who aren't kind of, I don't want to say woke, but woke.
There's no better word for it.
Exactly. I really like that term. But when people who aren't, like, really into social activism, kind of get thrown into the world through the internet or through, like, social media or whatever, I feel like there's this great deal of defensiveness that comes through. And it's just like, there's a lot of, what is this get away from me, blah, blah, blah. Like that tweet, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a tweet that went viral not too long ago. And it was this guy, and he posted, and he was like, "Thanks, Target. All I wanted were some shoes."
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the
Go
whole
to the
Pride
shoe aisle,
section.
Aaron.
It's just like literally just walk to the shoe aisle. Like, it's right over there, sir. Like, make it make sense. And I feel like that's like a really good metaphor for a lot of modern homophobia, because it's just like, it's really a lot of just people saying, "I don't want to see this thing." And it's just like, well, we don't want you to see it either if you're going to be an asshole about it. Jeez, leave.
Or
Just
the
leave
idea
then.
that, like, people are like, we're pushing it down their throats. I'm like, have you seen an ad ever at all? Most things are used selling sex. Usually cisgendered, heterosexual, white sex.
Exactly.
You can see two women kissing, it's fine. It's fine. They're fully clothed. She kissed her on the cheek. They're fine. It's fine. It's fine. You'll live. You can explain it to your kids. I promise you can explain it to your kids. Mm-hmm. You just don't want to.
Exactly.
And it's the issue is that you don't want to.
High key, real quick, while we're on the topic of women kissing other women, and we are blessed about it. The musical The Prom made history at the Tony Awards for airing the first on-stage kiss between two women. Because the whole premise of the show is that they are lesbians who want to go to the prom in Indiana. And the school cancels the event, so there's like a bunch of like old Broadway stars that come back and sort of like get it back on. And at the end of it, like it's a big whole rousing number, and they kiss. And they did it at the Macy's Day Parade, and it was the first time a kiss like that had been aired on television, on the Macy's Day Parade specifically.
Amazing.
And they did it again at the Tonys, and it was the first time that it had happened at the Tonys. And I was like, the Tonys? It's the first time it happened at the Tonys. This is for the gays. What are you talking about? Exactly. Why did it take this long? Just so quick, fun little injection there for a happy little celebration. Thank you to the prom for giving us
through prom.
Come through prom.
Come through. Hello, W. Harrison. I don't know what that emote means, but you're doing your best, man. I appreciate it. I hate to say it, but who complains about women kissing women? I think that you're in the wrong place, bud. We have two people who are queer women who love other women, and they're telling you about their struggle and their unique experience. And if you haven't experienced it, clearly you don't know that it's. Maybe you should listen.
My ex-girlfriend couldn't hold hands when we walked down the street, and we lived in Chicago.
Two women just got beat up in the UK for not kissing for men's entertainment.
Also, again, it took until 2018 at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and now 2019 at the Tonys. It's the Tonys.
Once again,
the hypersexualization. It's the first thing when you search up the word lesbian in Google, the first thing that comes up is porn.
Also, to the point that Tumblr like blocked the lesbian tag because, oh, lesbian inherently means sexual. Gay inherently means something sexual. It's like it doesn't inherently mean that. Just means that's a girl who likes girls. That like if straight people can like each other in ways that aren't inherently sexual, why can't queer people?
Exactly. Like, so that's where we're coming from. You are going to get Overwatch content. Just wait a minute. We got really sidetracked. We do that a lot here. So just to go back to the point, let's talk a little bit more about queer Overwatch and where you hope that space can grow to. Like, where do you see queer Overwatch in like a few years from now, hopefully?
I mean, I don't really know. I just kind of wanted a community. That was the whole point. Was I was looking for this community, and I was kind of like, I thought I was alone with it. And then I saw, because I was following a bunch of Overwatch blogs, as I do because I'm garbage, and I saw someone asking someone else if they knew of any, like, anywhere online where they could find other LGBTQ people to play with because they didn't want to play especially in like team chat, because that gets scary. And I saw someone, I think it was Mercy Main Things actually, they got a message and they were like, hey, like, do you know of anywhere that exists that I could find other queer people to play with? And I was like, oh my goodness, someone else wants this. I'm gonna make this community. Like, clearly there's want for this, so I'm gonna make space for this. So I just went and did it, and I just want it to be somewhere that people like feel safe and that they can meet other people that they feel safe being around. Like, I have made some incredible friendships, and I've been playing with them for about 2 years now. I think August is going to be like 2 years. And one of them lives in Philly, and I just went to visit him last month or the month before, and I'm stoked because we're going to go to the grand finals together, and I'm like, that's one of my best friends now. And I just want that for other people. And so even if that happens for one other group of friends, that's enough. But if it happens for dozens of people, that's dope too. Like, I just want a community for people to feel safe and know that they can be completely themselves without the issue of people being like, oh, well, you're not queer enough, you're not gay enough in this way, or oh, you have straight passing privilege, or oh, you're not trans enough because you experience debilitating dysphoria every day of your life. Like, I'm non-binary. I don't experience debilitating dysphoria every single day, but that doesn't make me not non-binary. And I don't want to have to deal with people telling me that I'm not trans enough because I'm not trying to look like a man, because I'm not, because that would cause dysphoria too. Like, there's no one way to experience any of this, and I just wanted to make a place where people feel safe to know that isn't any way one way to experience this, and that they can experience that with other people who might experience being queer differently than they do and still feel safe. And so if it's just the friends that I've made, then that's cool, but I hope one day it becomes a huge group of people that feel safe together. That'd be pretty cool. Hope we can get to that.
We just got a question in chat that I think is interesting. Wouldn't the hope be that humanity pulls its head out of its ass enough for everyone to be comfortable in any community instead of cloistering themselves? I agree, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, that's way off. That's
like,
it's great to think about, but I also have to be realistic enough to know that it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like, even Evie EVA, she has even said there are queer people within Overwatch League. And like,
come out.
yeah, they don't feel safe to come out. And so that's an issue too. And if we can reach that somehow, that would be fantastic. I don't have my heart set in stone on it, but if somehow those people within the league that are experiencing issues that they feel like they can't come out, they can't be who they are, even Effect, who recently came out as bi, and then he right after. And I find it very difficult to believe that that had absolutely nothing to do with him coming out. Or Kate, who was working for Washington Justice, who left because of all of the issues that were coming about. And again, I find it very difficult to believe that absolutely none of that was because of the fact that they do fall under the LGBTQ community. They are part of that community. But those things have to be taken into account when we're talking about these people leaving. And again, talking about people that are still part of the league and feel like they can't come out because of all of these issues that other people have with who they are. And that shouldn't, you're right, that shouldn't be our issue. We should hope that humanity can get its head out of their ass. But we're making progress. We're definitely making progress, but we're
Baby
not quite
steps are
there
still
yet.
steps.
Yeah,
Like,
baby
literally,
steps are great, but we need more baby steps.
we need
Exactly.
more. Like, it's literally just today. I saw this on my Facebook. There is a business about 20 minutes away from my house. There's a restaurant. Since I'm very close to, like, Salem, Mass, every June, they will hoist a bunch of rainbow flags up in the middle of, like, their courtyard. And every other flag for the past 2 years has been a trans flag. So it's, like, rainbow flags and trans flags because Salem is super all in on pride, which makes complete sense because it's Salem, Massachusetts. And right down the street from there is Beverly, Massachusetts. And they also, a lot of the businesses do the same exact thing. And so there was a business that had a rainbow flag hanging out in front of their restaurant, and they got a threatening hate letter taped to the door of their business that was basically like, me and my family used to come here all the time to give you business, but now that you've chosen to fly this flag of immorality and this flag of sin, we're never coming back here again. And I'm like, it's 2019 and this literally just happened today.
Literally,
On June 12th, the anniversary of the Pulse shooting, this happened today.
You could have used that same energy to take a nap.
Exactly.
In the words of Corey Overwatch, take a nap.
At a certain point, all I have to say to, like, literally anyone still perpetuating homophobic BS is just like, grow up, read a book. I'm tired. Just like,
truly, it's exhausting.
It is so exhausting, especially because it's just like dealing with racist bigotry on top of dealing with the rampant aphobia that is happening right now. Is just
which is also exhausting. Like
exactly.
I'm not ace, so I'm like, I can't even begin to imagine. But I get so mad every time. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I got like 4 aphobes off my Twitter TL today. I was just like,
take a nap.
I'm tired.
Take a nap.
But it's just like a lot of it does have to deal with privilege. A lot of it does have to deal with privileged people's lack of willingness to acknowledge that privilege. And once privileged people are able to actually genuinely acknowledge their own privilege and listen to people who are underprivileged, that's when actual change starts to happen, and we're not quite there yet. Which is why, like, the hope for a community where everyone is super comfortable being whatever is really noble. But the fact of the matter is that we're just not there. We're not anywhere near there. Anywhere near post-racial, we're not anywhere near sexuality.
Even with Queer Overwatch, like, I got messages like, oh, like, why is it Queer Overwatch? Why isn't it LGBT Overwatch? I'm like, because this is for the queer community. And that part of why I associate with the queer community, part of why I identify as part of it, is because of the way that within like the LGBT community, especially people who are like, oh, it's just the four are, and it's like, no, because ace people are the community, non-binary people are part of the community, pansexuality is a real gender, it's real, I am here, I am pan. I'm telling you that it is real. It's not the same as bi. It's similar, sure, but it's not the same. And it's the idea that, like, when you are so set on these four are the only options that you have, that's when you get to all of these other issues and the people that refuse to acknowledge all of these other issues, and not that lesbian women and gay men and trans people have excessive privilege, but for me, and this is just from my experiences, from what I've noticed, people that identify as queer, and again, part of why I felt so comfortable identifying as part of that community, is that those are the people that will, if someone is like, hey, that thing that you said wasn't okay, will take a step back and check themselves and be like, okay, so my privilege is coming into play here. How do I use this for better? How do I use this to help the people that I have this privilege over, to make sure that they are being heard and acknowledged, and that we can work towards not having to deal with this. And that's, again, that's why I was drawn to the queer community, is because it's the people that are like, okay, I have privilege somehow. How am I using it to help people? How am I using this in a way that's beneficial, not just for me, but for people as a whole? That's what I wanted to try to get to with this, was the people that feel that, or some semblance of that, of acknowledging their privilege, whether it's that they're cis, or that they're white, or whatever else. There's privilege everywhere, and you have to acknowledge it. And if you're not acknowledging your privilege and you're using it to hurt people, leave. Go take a nap. Don't want you here. Bye.
Exactly.
Bye. You are not welcome. Don't come back until you're ready to acknowledge.
I like the fact that Queer Overwatch started specifically with the idea of supporting femininity.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so much of what playing Overwatch is now is just so dominated by just hoping and praying that you don't end up queuing up with a bunch of people who just make fun of you for being a girl.
Which is why I didn't play comp for the longest time, because I didn't want to deal with that. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't have the energy for this. I'm just going to play quick play bye.
I will never forget. I don't know if I told this story last week or not, but when I first got my PlayStation and I first got Overwatch, I was really excited to play, and because it was a Christmas gift, my dad had already set it up, and he didn't know that putting his email in the thing was gonna make the tag his email thing Zeus 37 man. And so whenever I would load into a comp game, I would get some questionable responses. So one day, specifically, I queued into a comp game on Nimbani, and I was I just went into the chat and I sighed and I was like, "Hello team, how are we doing?" And then some random ass dude who was playing Reinhardt or something, was just like, excuse me, but why is your 37 man if very clearly not a man? And I was just well, in my brain I was like, well, first of all, you don't even know if I'm trans.
Take the misdirected transphobia elsewhere.
Exactly. I'm just why is this even a thing to question? So then what came out of my mouth was, I just don't think that's any of your business.
Because it's not.
Everyone else in chat was very delighted to hear me say. And then this made this man very angry for some reason. And he started to curse me out.
As if he wasn't demanding personal information to begin with.
I was just he started to curse me out and he started to yell awful things at me, which is what most fragile men do. And he eventually it got to be to a point where I guess his mom just like came into the room and yelled at him. And then he was like, immediately, as soon as she like slammed the door open, he was like, I'm sorry. It was the funniest thing that has ever happened to me to this day, in a comment.
His mom said you're gonna start drinking respecting women juice.
It was iconic. It was a moment.
Almost the same sort of thing happened to me where I like got on mic with somebody and we went into like the team chat and I started talking and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play tank and we're gonna have a good time. And like halfway through the game, some dude was like, so wait, are you a girl or are you like a little boy? And I was like, why does it matter? Am I gonna play better if I'm one or the other? And he was like, well, no, I just because you sound like you could be a girl, but also like you could be like a little kid. And I was like, duh. Has nothing to do with anything. How about you play the game? How about that, huh? How about we all
What if I'm both?
¿Por qué no los dos? How about that?
A lot because my voice is like, my speaking voice is just a little, despite being a soprano, hey, and it's just like, I don't get a lot of, are you a girl or are you a little boy? I get a lot of that, and I'm just like, first of all, trans has no one voice. Second of all, your transphobia. Just because I'm a girl who
that's what you're going to open with here, buddy.
Sorry.
That's really the priority here.
I remember once I was just like, I was not having a good day, and I was just like not playing my best. I was probably playing support because a lot of my introduction to Overwatch was me getting bullied into playing support by people who will not be named. And it was just like, so I was probably playing support, and then some guy just like came onto the mic for some reason. He just like started chucking trans slurs at me, and I was just like,
could take that energy and put it towards the game,
or
just focus on what we're doing. Yeah, take a nap. Take a nap. You don't. Why be racist or sexist or transphobic or homophobic or anything when you take a nap?
Exactly. When you can just not and just like lose consciousness for like 3 hours.
There's a lot of people who could learn that lesson. I'm looking at those people, and you know what? You know.
Oh my god. We had a very spirited conversation before broadcasting today, guys. Just to kind of move things along a little bit. Pride Day was at the arena this past weekend, and while everything was lovely, Briggsy specifically, you looked great, girl. A lot of people showed up in really cool outfits, and there were Pride merch and selling cool Pride merch. There was something interesting that happened in Korea. I don't know, Mallory, have you heard about this?
No, that weekend was a whirlwind for me, so there's a lot.
Right, yes, because you went to Pride. Hey, full circle. In Korea, I think they cut out all the LGBT of the like kind of broadcast.
Yeah,
they like censored it, which was.
I have seen Korean people talking about that, and I can't remember off the top of my head who, but I remember them saying something about how it is just voiceovered, and so they said something about how, you know, you can't really get the full gist of it anyway through a voiceover, and they're not going to get like subtitles in the middle of it, which is fair, but it's also like you didn't make an effort at all.
Exactly.
You know? It kind of like it goes both ways. Like, yeah, you can't. I mean, because watching Apex, it is all like voiceover. So yeah, you probably wouldn't get the same gist of it, but there was no effort made at all.
My work here is done, but you didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
That was just the general gist. And like, I don't know. I take issue with a lot of corporations who do pride things, like I've talked about multiple times on this broadcast.
Yeah, like you guys were saying last week, rather, how they had Zoe modeling the shirt when
exactly
Mika's right there.
Mika's right there. Muma's right there. Like so many.
The woman who does the makeup at the arena,
yeah,
she's also Pan. She's also right there. Get the three of them in there. Get the three of them in there. You could have done it before Kate left. You could have done it, you know, something. Mention Kate. Mention Effect.
Call Chef Heidi.
Elk is there.
Somebody call Chef Heidi.
It's just like there are so many. Like I feel like at that point, like I understand wanting to use a fan favorite, like to model a shirt or whatever.
Is Mika not a fan favorite? Because I'll fight whoever doesn't like Mika.
That's fair too. I feel like just because I feel like the only reason that Zoe would take priority over Mika in fan favoriteness is because Mika has been here for like the full amount of time of the Overwatch League being in existence. But like if you want to use a fan favorite, Muma's right there, who's been here the entire time. And he's right there. He's on like a fan favorite team who does a really fucking good job of marketing, by the way. NYXL, do your job. I'm still salty about it, to be honest.
They did the pop-up shop, and then we're just kind of like, we've done our work here, goodbye.
You didn't do anything.
We set the standard, and now we don't have to do anything else. And I'm like, listen.
No, Mallory,
I want
they actually
more.
did do something. They sold people a $100 Levi's jean jacket. $100 for a jean jacket. Capitalism, kids. It was...
I mean, I've got one of the shirts on from the pop-up shop. It's the comfiest thing I own.
There.
Yeah, I've got my flag, I've got my hat over here. Some of the comfiest stuff I own. Bring it back. Bring
Absolutely.
it back. Please.
That does have a lot to do with the Fnatic stuff. I know that they're doing, sorry, Corey
I don't want to talk about the Fnatic stuff.
Corey and I met at, the
line for the pop-up shop
finals weekend thing. And we're both hardcore NYXL fans because we're both from New York. Sybil says, please bring back individual merch. I want Philly merch back. Me too, Kate. I feel like this is going to be like my umpteenth time saying this on this broadcast. The team has its own individual personality. And especially, I feel like the Chinese teams like Spark and the Charge, quickly, because they're color schemes, but I feel like they could just be doing so much more than what Fnatic's is doing. Sorry, not sorry.
And then the idea of taking all of these teams and being like, oh, hey, we're going to do the same thing for all of these
it's like putting
very
it into
different teams. Yeah, like, no, they're all very different. Use that to your advantage. Use things that you look at it and you're like, yes, that's definitely a Philly shirt. That's definitely a Boston shirt. That's definitely a Shanghai shirt. Instead of just, what's that one again? Hold on, I couldn't quite read that.
I couldn't quite read it through the Mad Lib.
Yeah, like, come on. There's so much you could be doing. You're just mass producing the same thing over and over.
It's just like these graphic designers spend so much time cultivating a specific aesthetic for each team. Like Anthony works his ass off trying to make the Florida Mayhem look so much cooler than they actually are. And like
that new third kit jersey, oh my goodness.
I know Anthony didn't do that. I'm not sure who did off the top of my head. I know
but all the effects that went, all of the stuff posted on Twitter too with all of that is
so good.
I'm like, I'm about to become a Florida Mayhem fan because this is so aesthetically pleasing. So nice.
I was literally just like,
you're doing so well.
I can't believe I have to become a Florida Mayhem stan. They decided to vaporwave it up on me.
So nice.
This is my life now. That's fine. I'm moving to Miami. Goodbye. That's fine. Speaking of Pride Day at the arena, Mallory, you went to Pride this weekend. How was your experience?
Did. It was great. For those who don't know, I live in Massachusetts, so I went to Boston Pride. And me and my friend, we dressed up like Tracer and Soldier because we like to dress up and have fun at Pride. So we got a little dressed up. We were living our best lives. And And it was really, really fun. Because, like, the best part about Pride, especially Boston Pride, is that they marched right to the middle of the city. So they were, like, walking through all of us, and there was, like, a group of people for everything. And one thing that made me super emotional was that they had an entire group of people supporting Taiwan. So they had like giant signs, and there was, Asian American people like saying like Taiwan's the first in Asia to legalize gay marriage, and they were all so happy. And me and my friends that were there, I was getting like emotional. I was very, very like reclamped. I was like, oh my God, this is so important for them that this is happening. I'm so happy. And then literally the girl next to me started screaming, and she was like, "We stand Taiwan!" And I was like, "You're right, sis.
We so do.
Can't believe we stand Taiwan." And all the stuff, that was even questionable, we weren't afraid to call out, because there was some political people, signs of people saying like, vote this person for Congress or for Senate. And one of them was like a whole parade of people with rainbow signs that said, vote so-and-so for the Senate. I don't know his name. And I watched all these people keep marching by, and then me and my friend looked at each other. My friend goes, "So where is the senator?" Senator wasn't even there. So it's like, oh, so we see that. We see you. You're not there. You're not actively supporting us. You just made rainbow signs and had a bunch of other people walk for you. Because there was another political candidate who was there and who was marching with his wife. So I was like, all right, at least he showed up. The bit for the rest of the parade was, but where is the congressman? Well, but where is he though? Where?
Energy is holding the pride flag upside down and expecting that to count.
Like,
listen, like, I don't mess with that. But like, overall, Boston Pride's usually really good, and it was great. There's not a lot of shenanigans that go on. Like, there was one protester who started getting like a small crowd around him, but they weren't like fighting him as much as they were just trying to like, I don't know, goof around. And a couple of my friends were like, we should go over there. And I was like, nah, we're not going to waste energy on doing that. You give them attention, they're winning. If you just ignore him, his message isn't being heard because he's being ignored. It doesn't matter how big his sign is. Like, if we just walk away, then it doesn't matter. So, just walk away. And it was really fun. I don't tend to buy anything at Boston Pride just because usually they don't have like smaller businesses there that are, owned by queer people. That's what North Shore Pride is for in Salem. So they get a bunch of small businesses in the Salem Common. That's where I bought a t-shirt last year that says, there's a little cat on it, and he's wearing a little magic hat, and he says, trans rights, meow.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
When I bought the shirt, I like went to their booth, and I was like, I want that shirt. And they were like, yeah, it's really cute. And then I came back, and I was like, I'm going to buy that shirt. And they were so happy that, like, we were supporting them, because they were like, we haven't sold that many t-shirts today. And I was like, I don't understand. The shirt has everything.
Listen, I want to buy all of them.
It has cats, and it has trans rights. I don't understand. How is everybody not buying this shirt?
Make sense.
Shirt for everybody. I'll throw it at some people.
That's so interesting, though. I find it so interesting that, like, that politician wasn't even there. Because I go to Pride every year. As I've said before, I go to Pride every year. I've gone since senior year of high school, which was not that long ago.
You're a baby.
But still, I am baby. And every single time that there is a politician that has like a squad there, they're always marching the parade route.
Yeah.
I am beyond excited because like I just know that Alexandria is going to be there, my mom, and I am just like, if I see her, I get to meet her, I might like just break down. That'll be your first Pride experience, right? Watching me break down.
It's okay, because if AOC's there and we do like by chance get to meet her, I will also be crying.
It's fine. It's fine. It'll be mutual.
That's how I felt at the Women's March when Lizzie Warren was there. And I looked at her. We like connected eyes, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love her." And then the woman in front of me was like, "It's okay, we all love her." You're right. And she's so she's usually like in the middle of the parade, like dancing and having a great time. It makes sense why she wasn't there this year because she's trying to run the dang country.
No,
But-
my friend actually texted. I got like a random text message from my friend Daniel. Hey, yo, you're definitely not watching this. I got a random text message from my friend Daniel at like some odd hour of the night, and he was like, "Do you think that Elizabeth Warren is going to be at New York City Pride this year?" And I was like, "I mean, she's running for president, and that's like probably one of the main like major pride parades in like country, so there's a good chance." And then he was just like, "Do you think she'll bring her dog?" And he was just like like
Your priorities are astounding, and I love it.
it just like kept going.
That's valid, though. I want to
But
meet your dog.
it'll be your first Pride
Yeah.
this year, Corey. New York City Pride is this it's the last week of, whoa, my voice just did something. It'll be the last week of June, the Sunday specifically, but there will be stuff happening all that week. I won't be in the city for any of it. I really just only go to the parade because I have money. But definitely go if you haven't before, and if you're in the greater area. I'm trying to get things to come through. And I feel like, I don't know, if you haven't been to a Pride and you're not a bigot, just go. Just go. It is just like the best time, but don't go until you educate yourself.
Because it's not their job. People at Pride are not there to teach you the ins and outs of what that sort of low-key happened to me, and I was not happy. So, like, it's not our job to teach you. This is our time to come together as a community and celebrate. And especially this year, with 50 years since Stonewall, it's super important that we're all recognizing why we're here in the first place. Thank you, Marsha P. Johnson. So, educate yourself.
Exactly. And I feel like, especially this year, since it is 50, there's just like such a wealth of different articles that are coming out, like right around now. And it's just like, there's just, it is all over your Facebook feed. Like, just
Or
click
even
on
if
what.
not, there's an episode of Drunk History about it. You can go watch Drunk History.
There is.
You can go watch the episode of Drunk History.
Go watch that.
Learn a little something. Start respecting Black trans women and also sex workers. We're going to respect them too.
Absolutely.
Because we would not have anything we have if it wasn't for a Black trans woman who was also a sex worker. Thanks, Marsha P. Johnson.
Facts are facts. Thanks, Mom. And it's just like, especially being in New York for Pride and being able to like walk by the Stonewall Inn, and like I think they're erecting a statue of her. I'm not sure. Probably not going to be done.
Yeah.
But I know they announced that they're going to be erecting a statue of her, and I know that like as soon as even that like little monument that they have, it's just like walking by it like on the day of Pride, or even like standing on right by there, is just like so high key emotional. And it's just like, it really hits you in like such a way that you could never even imagine, like being there in real life and being able to see like, this is where things happen. This is where like history happened. And that's why I love New York.
Yeah, I've walked past
It's like
Stonewall once, and I wasn't of legal age yet, so I haven't like gone inside, but I walked past once, and I was like almost ready to cry, because I was like, oh my goodness, it's Stonewall. So I'm like, I know I'm gonna be crying all day at Pride. I'll be crying the Pan Pride flag, because I will be doing fun makeup, but I'll be crying.
It's valid. Pride is so emotional, and it is a time to stand with your peers and to be not only a good ally but a good friend. Because many people, it is like, so many people are coming from homes they aren't accepted, and Pride is the one day a year when they're able to be accepted in a public place, because there are so many people and there is safety in numbers. But also beyond that, in our current political climate, it is really risky to be out and proud, especially in certain states below the Mason-Dixon line and out west. It's hard. So if you're a straight cis ally, just be a good friend, be a good ally, read up, read some Black queer feminist literature. That's going to be your best source of knowledge.
And again, like you said earlier, you're more than welcome to come. Just make sure you're educated first.
Exactly.
Don't be the person refusing to learn. Because there's a difference between not knowing better and refusing to know better. Don't be the person refusing to know better and then show up at Pride and make it about you having a day to just get wasted in whatever city you're in.
Exactly.
That's not what this is.
It's so disrespectful to just treat it like it's a party. And to just, like, pretend like it's just, oh, it's just this huge party that happens in the street and I can just get really wasted with a rainbow. That's not the point. If you're gonna...
You wanted to go back to a revolt? Because we can do that.
Exactly. Like, the first Pride was a riot. You weren't able to get wasted there, Tiana. It was just like, just be educated. It's so easy to educate 19 kids. Just Google it. I love how I'm saying kids. I'm 19 years old, by the way.
Well, I mean, you're still a kid. We're old.
Exactly.
When I'm in the chat, you're baby.
I'm always baby. Are you kidding?
Grandma's gonna go this way.
We've just hit the 1 hour mark. So does anyone have any closing statements that they want to do?
Of course.
Hang out with Queer Overwatch. Come be part of the community. It's always great to have, the bigger the community, the better. Like you said earlier, Miranda, strength in numbers, there's safety in numbers. The bigger the community, the better. Doesn't hurt. Don't be a bigot, though. I will block you immediately. Not exposing anyone to that if I have a say in it.
And even if you aren't queer, Corey tweets a lot of really good information. They have a really great sense of what isn't a hot take. And by that I mean I agree with a lot of what they say. Someone asked, but for those who aren't worried or apprehensive of misinformation, or for those who cannot learn from reading, what would your recommendation be for how to educate yourself in these communities without stumbling into a situation where you hurt someone by being curious? Being curious is never the issue. There's like a very fine line between being straight up thing. And I'm not entirely sure where that line is, but I
feel like it varies person per person. You know, because if someone is asking questions, it's not a bad thing. It just depends on how you're phrasing the question more often than not. Because there's a difference between, hey, I'm curious about this, and you are obligated to tell me this personal information.
Exactly. Like, there's a line. It's just...
that's about the line.
Where chances are you have a queer friend. If you really cannot learn from reading, there is a wealth of queer documentaries out there. Paris is Burning actually is just getting... I just read about this. They're kind of... Oh my god, what's the word? Not redoing, but like...
Reviving?
Not reviving, not renovating, but like making it new again.
Revamping?
Revamping, rebooting, something. Remastering! Thank you, Kate. Love you. They're remastering Paris is Burning, and it will be in limited screenings. And even then, it's probably online somewhere. Which is... It's all about kind of the gay ballroom scene and kind of where modern queer culture came to fruition. That's a really good place to start. Also, just like if you have a queer friend, which you...
And if you don't, you can follow Queer Overwatch, and if you have questions and I can't personally answer them, I can find someone who can. So that your information is coming from someone who actually knows personal experience, because that's always the best way to get that information.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Getting information from someone who has lived it is 100% of the time the only way that you're actually going to get a genuine answer. Asking a cis straight white person about a trans black gay person's experience is not going to get you anywhere. Sorry about it, but it's just not. listening to people is the best first step.
Mhm.
And that's my closing statement. Also, follow Queer Overwatch. Follow us. Join our Discord. We're going to start doing community stuff soon, probably. And yeah, follow us all on Twitter. We all have our Twitter handles in our bios and also in our extended bios. And we're going to be doing something really cool to get you all to know a little bit more about all of us. Wink, wink. Very, very soon, as soon as everything's done. You know.
Yes! Also, if you're an Overwatch League team and you have a rainbow icon, you have to do better, and that's all I'm saying on that. Thank you, period.
I'm seconding that.
I'm thirding it. Do better, kids. And with that, we have been HausQueens. Thank you so much, Corey, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We love you very much.
I love you guys too. Thank you for doing all of this. HausQueens is so fun to watch. I love you guys.
Oh,
We stand Corey. Can't believe
you're gonna make me cry. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Have a great Wednesday night. See you guys next week where we have another super special guest. Don't miss it. Good night.